You are very welcome out here to the kitchen, and we are with our lovely Monty, Alison Canavan. Good morning to you, Ali.
Good morning,
And we're with the wonderful Margot Brennan. So what else could we be talking about? Nutrition for pregnancy. And we're going to talk about the early stages first, Ali, because I know you had an awful time with morning sickness and nausea, and you couldn't actually keep food down.
I couldn't keep anything down, and I suppose I didn't have morning sickness. I had morning, afternoon and evening sickness. So this whole morning sickness thing, I don't believe in that. And the only thing that worked for me, I know, Margot, you say eat if you can keep down a lot of fluids, but I couldn't really. So what did work for me was ginger nut biscuits, tea and toast, sipping on tea and toast in the morning really worked for me. And I suppose just a lot of rest.
Yeah. And
just try and
just gut it out, because eventually you did get over that. Was it the 3 months?
I did, but not at 3 months. I like at 4.5, nearly 5. Yeah. I was feeling quite sick.
You feel quite angry. They lied.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why I was so happy to feel well, because I had been so well. Like everything triggered at perfumes, the smell of rubbish, the smell of cooking. I had an aversion to raw meat or any kind of fish.
You had an awful time with it, didn't you, hon?
For a while, yeah.
Unfortunately, Alison's situation is
quite common, absolutely.
So
and
what can you do from a food perspective?
The first most important thing is, it isn't going to harm the baby, because that's obviously your main concern.
Okay.
And
good to know.
And it is, because generally baby is quite parasitic. It will really draw on what you have, and I suppose it's important that you're well nourished before you get pregnant. Exactly as you said, drinks being useful if you can take them, but really the starchy type foods, like you'd been doing, crackers, biscuits, little bit of cereal, and delaying your liquids is useful. If it's really continuing on an ongoing basis, you do need to get help, because you may need to be, you may need to be rehydrated, for example, and that can help you when
Alison mentioned ginger nut biscuits. That's obviously the ginger in it as well. Does that work, Margaret?
Yeah, well, it's just the starch, the carbs really is what just.
So it's not the ginger isn't the magic thing; it's the starch.
It's just obviously from a taste perspective that worked for you, but it's
maybe mentally it worked for you then.
Yeah, because ginger ale as well, sipping on ginger ale. I suppose we're told if we have a sick stomach. Yeah. Do you know what really worked for me actually? That was brilliant. You know the armbands that you have for seasickness? They really worked for me. I know, just get them in the pharmacy. A friend of mine said to me, because it's like motion sickness. Yeah. So I put those armbands on, they're on like a pressure point. You get them in any of your pharmacies, and they actually really worked.
So important, stay hydrated and try and get down your starchy bits and bobs.
And even things like sports drinks we would use on somebody that's really finding it difficult.
Because you're getting the sugar and
you're getting a little bit,
okay.
and you're being hydrated, which is really important.
Okay, so let's go from one problem in pregnancy, not that we're focusing on the negatives, it's a very positive experience, but to the other one, which is there are important foods to avoid.
Yes, there are important foods to avoid, and anything, for example, that could possibly cause any sort of food poisoning. So things like, soft cheeses, and I know this was a major fan of yours. So things like brie, camembert, any of those blue vein cheeses. Really just check the labels. If the milk has been pasteurized, it's generally fine to take it. If it hasn't, we would stay clear of it. Okay. Mayonnaise is anything that have eggs that are not fully cooked through would be really important.
Are most mayonnaises in supermarkets now safe?
Yeah, your jar of Hellmann's.
They should be, yes. I mean, they would be, yes, absolutely. Okay. It's really more your home cooked, where, the eggs and stuff may not be cooked through.
So that's like really fried eggs, not cooked through.
But I would be careful of things like salad bars, just from the point of view of, you need just to know how long something's been around, etc. I'm sure they're very safe, and obviously there's huge hygiene, really, but it would be better just for you to be more in control of it.
Okay, Margaret. Shellfish is one of the things that we hear all the time. You have to stay away from that?
Yeah, you do need to be very, very careful around shellfish, absolutely. And any meat or fish that's not cooked thoroughly. So again, even things like smoked fishes or smoked meats.
So sushi is out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really just about preventing.
So does that mean if you liked your steak really rare, pre-baby days, when you've got the baby growing, you've got to do well done. It has to be well done.
Yeah, we do recommend you cook everything right. It's just risk of infection. And there are some things like listeria and other infections that really are very, very dangerous to baby. Okay. So
and Margot, we're running out of time, unfortunately, but I know the most important point you wanted to get across was how many extra calories a day. It's a lot less than you think.
Absolutely.
How many?
And this whole thing of eating for two is total rubbish. You need about 300 extra calories a day.
That's all.
And we actually determine the amount of weight they gain now during pregnancy against their pre-pregnancy weight.
Right. Okay.
So if you were very thin before you got pregnant, obviously you can gain more. If you're overweight, we need you to gain less.
Okay.
And this is, I just tried to put kind of ideas of 300 calories or thereabouts.
I'm shocked at how little 300 calories
is. It's like a couple of Weetabix with some fruit and milk. It's like a yogurt with banana. It's like a very lean sandwich. That's it. That's
completely run out of time,
extra.
I know you wanted to say fibre because constipation is a big issue.
Absolutely.
Nobody likes to talk about it, but it's a reality.
Yeah.
So fibre.
And bone health. Look after your bones.
Calcium,
look after your
calcium,
calcium. But all the information is on the website, on the INDI website.
INDI website.
Yes.
Margot, thank you very much. And how many weeks to go now?
3. I'm 37 weeks.
37
Yeah.
weeks. I know you weren't well last week, but you're better now.
I am indeed.
All good again.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
Great.
Oh, very exciting. Back in studio.